Tonight's episode of Chunkcast is brought to you by Koala Ink Studios. Tune in every Monday for a new episode of Quidjabo and Harold on YouTube. Cool, awesome. So this poster, it kind of says everything you need to know about it. Look, I'm just going to say it. The trailer itself, this movie's not been directed by James Gunn. It's not written by James Gunn, but it sure as hell feels like a James Gunn movie, right? And look, I have my preferences, and I made that very clear last week and on TikTok and YouTube Shorts, and I got some responses about my preference for the Snyderverse, and I hope they restore it. Hashtag restore the Snyderverse. But look, it is what it is. I'm familiar with the story. I haven't read the book, but I've made myself familiar with it and some of the events that happen and transpire in it. So I'm like, okay, this sounds cool. And the trailer seems to have nailed that. Like I don't think it's following it to a T, but it feels like what I've heard or read about that story. And I know a couple of people that have read it, and they say, yeah, that trailer looked very familiar and it looked like it's staying true, but it looks like it's doing the same thing, which is fine. It's an adaptation after all. It is based off the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow story, it's going to be very different. And yeah, like Supergirl, yeah, she spends a lot of time away from Yellow Sun in this, so she's drunk and having fights, and it's about dealing with loss. And I mean, when you think about it, what appeals to me about this story is it tackles that whole element of like there was a line in the trailer that says like Superman sees the good in everybody, but I see the truth. So I thought, okay, that's a cool line, just to differentiate the two between Supergirl and Superman. So she sees the truth. So she's not blinded by rose tinted colors or anything like that, right? She thinks she sees the truth and what's in front of her, right? And when you look at that, and what you see a bit of it in the trailer, but the story of Supergirl is, and it's true of every Supergirl canon essentially, like actual Kara Zor-El canon anyway, where she was an adult, like, or a young adult, right, or teenager, if you want to say that, when Kandor, the capital city, or the city where she lived in anyway, of Krypton, she was there, she was alive, she was fully aware of everything that was happening during Krypton's destruction. So from her perspective, like, she lost everything, like everything. She lost her family, her mum and dad, her pet. Well, I guess she gets reunited with Krypto, but there's other super pets if they're going to involve that. She lost like the whole world, the whole culture. She lost everything that she knows. So you can imagine where her perspective is very different to Kal-El's, where he didn't know any of that. Like, he grew up in a loving family on Earth, and he became the beacon of what is good and all that kind of stuff. So I guess dichotomy maybe is the right word to use between the two characters and their origins and how they perceive the world, or their worlds and their place in it. Like, I hope they go into that. That seems to be very interesting to me, and how they tackle that on film. I see a lot of people just shunning this away as like, oh, another James Gunn movie with James Gunnisms. And I know I started off talking like that during this segment here, but I'm just interested to see if they do that well. Like, if they tackle that story, or if they tackle that character beat on her dealing with the loss of everything. As far as she knows, she's the last Kryptonian. I don't know when this movie is set. I know at the end of Superman, 2025 Superman, spoilers if you haven't seen it, but she visits Kal-El on Earth. Like, she just comes in, says hello, and then pieces out like they're familiar. Like they're already at that level where, like, it's almost like a brother sister kind of thing, even though they're cousins. But I don't know when this is set. Like, is this set like at the same time? Like, obviously they'll have a flashback to when Krypton's destruction happens and all that. But when is the main story canon of this taking place? Is it prior to Superman 2025 or afterwards, or is this taking place after she leaves the Fortress of Solitude for another bender or something? Is this like a continuation after Superman? Like, I don't know that yet. But either way, it doesn't really matter. It honestly doesn't. She's probably doing this all the time, right? And I know there's some commentary about, oh, look, this is how we're depicting women now. Like, oh, she's strong and independent, just getting drunk and all this kind of stuff. Like, okay, so just calm down a bit, settle down. This is just it's a superhero movie right? But it tackles something that honestly, like, you know, just I don't want to get too real with it, but if like imagine what happened, like if you lost everything, like what would you do if you just lost your whole family, your whole world, you know, your culture, you don't know anyone or what your place is, you know, what are you gonna do? Like you're probably gonna go on a bender, right? Until you figure it out or worse, right? So I'm interested to see how that goes. And what happens when she does find herself in a planet that's near a yellow sun again? Like, does she sober up? Like, does she does she have to confront things? And like, I want to see that. Like, I want to see what happens there. Like, and what's Lobo's part to play in this? I've purposely avoided spoilers from the book. I don't want that spoiled for me. So I want to see what happens with when Lobo comes in. Like, are they just going to have a bang, bang, smash, smash, like fight, you know, bang, bang. Well, I don't think that's going to happen. But anyway, what happens there? Or, you know, because he's the last of his kind too, right? Canonically, you know, unless they're going to change that. So are they going to relate on that level? I don't know. Like a lot of questions coming out. And I think it was a good teaser. I think it was a trailer. I'm not going to call it a teaser. A teaser should have been like 30 seconds max or, you know, 60 seconds at most, right? Where we got twice that time. May as well have been a trailer. I don't know why they're calling it a teaser. But anyway, I thought it looked great. It feels very gunny, you know, for better or worse. Again, we've got the trench coat protagonist, you know, with the old school headphones and Walkman, and we're doing that whole thing again. I don't know, like I know in the book she does wear tattered clothing and a trench coat and all that kind of stuff. Like it's so I get it, but you know, are we going to have another set list or a playlist? A mixtape kind of thing? Are we going to do that whole trope again? Or like we've seen it before. So anyway, we'll see how that pans out. I'm just I might be cynical. Maybe I am a bit too cynical and rolling my eyes at it. I think it's going to be a good time though. Like the action scenes that they had in the trailer and her flying around and her suit looks awesome. Oh wow. Like she just, when you see the suit, when she's just there in her suit, it just looks like, oh shit. Like, okay, that looks amazing. That's Supergirl. Damn. She looks the part. She looks awesome. All right. They even got the knee-high boots and everything. I think it looks awesome. Like they didn't shy away. Like it looks very feminine and it's refreshing. There's a skirt, you know, like, oh, happy days. Like femininity, amazing. You know, that's great. Let's not shy away from that. I think it's a good thing to celebrate. Yeah, look at that. So anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing this movie. I hope it's going to be awesome. And I hope it enriches Superman 2025. Like I have my feelings against that movie, like for better or worse. And I talked about it last week, so I won't repeat myself here. And I haven't really been around to review the movie, so I'm not going to waste my time. I mean, if anything that should lend to you like what I think about the movie, it didn't make me want to jump on here and talk about it and review it and stuff. Like I was like, you know, like it was cool for what it is. It felt like a comic book movie, a Superman comic book with Silver Age edge, you know, and it's not really me, but anyway, I enjoyed it for what it was. I think there was too many characters in it. I wish it was more of a focused Superman story, but anyway, say no more. Yeah, look, I'm looking forward to it. We'll see. I'm still leaning on the restore the Snyderverse angle. I'm gonna flog that dead horse. Hey, look, it worked for us before. Maybe it can happen again. I know I've had a couple people tell me just to like stop. Like it's never going to happen, Sean. It's never going to happen. Well, you know, they thought Zack Snyder's movie was never going to come out, but it did, right? So let's just see what happens. You know, let's just see what happens. Anyway, let me know what you thought about this trailer if you've seen it. Does this like move your needle at all either way? I'm kind of like, oh yeah, cool. You know, I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not like holy God. You know, I must see this. I'll be there anyway, like in the first week, or if not in the first couple of days when this movie comes out anyway, as I always am. So yeah, maybe I'll catch you on some of the commentary online when this movie comes out, and I'll do a review. You know, if I'm doing this more in a cadence now, you know, I might actually give a review on it this time, and we'll take it from there. Anyway, let's move on to some Game Awards talk. Yes.